everyone. I'm Stacey Van Dyke, and it's a big weekend to get outside. Behind me here is a live look at the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. The streets are packed with bikers and vendors. Official events just started this morning, and people are looking to beat the heat at We Fest as they get ready for Miranda Lambert. She's taking the stage at 10:30 tonight. But changes to the weather are on the way for Lakes Country. Let's get straight to Summer on this first alert weather day with the latest. Summer.
Thank you so much, Stacey, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. That's right, it's a first alert weather day. Not only are we dealing with the heat, there's potential for severe storms later this evening. 91 degrees right now in Jamestown, Fargo, and in Fergus Falls. Even hotter down to the south, 93 in Oaks, 97 in Aberdeen. But take a look at the heat index values across the region. It feels like 98 degrees if you're stepping outside in Fargo, 107 in Oaks. Feels like 112 degrees in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Well, there's some spicy temperatures, if I say so myself. Satellite and radar showing a few clouds passing through the region, and increasing clouds in Fargo have actually dropped our temperature just a couple of degrees, but still plenty of humidity. We have a couple of spotty showers and thunder showers just off to the southeast of our viewing area, but we do have a cold front coming that's going to bring severe storms later this evening. Strong to severe storms, especially in the area shaded in yellow. It includes Fargo and Lakes Country all the way up through Bemidji and then stretching back down through Fergus Falls, Ellendale, Wahpeton. We could see large hail and damaging wind gusts with any of these severe storms that do develop, in addition to heavy rainfall. So Stacey, coming up in a little bit, I'll have your hour-by-hour forecast of when to expect these severe storms to fire and how long they're going to stick around.
All right, thanks so much, Summer. And speaking of impactful weather, 2 people who were critically injured in a lightning strike outside the White House have now died. 2 others remain hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. The couple from Wisconsin were in Lafayette Park directly outside the White House complex when the lightning hit. Secret Service and the U.S. Park Police witnessed the lightning strike last night. They ran over to render first aid. An update now to a story we've been following since last Friday. Clay County Sheriff Mark Empting says charges are possible after officials searched a cornfield looking for a family July 29th. The search was initiated after a man walked into the Dilworth Police Department saying his family was hiding in a field nearly 25 miles away. He told police the family drove into the field near Downer because they thought they were being chased. Police used canines and drones to find the mother and 2 children who said they'd spent the night in the field. At the time, police said they were trying to confirm whether the family was actually being chased, and they suspected drug use. Empting says he isn't able to disclose what charges may be possible in the case. No one is in custody, but Empting says he believes the children are with protective services. The former police chief of Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, is suing city officials, alleging they forced him to resign for not immediately firing Officer Kim Potter, who shot and killed Dante Wright during a traffic stop. Tim Gannon claims the city manager gave him the opportunity to resign in lieu of termination, but didn't provide him due process. Gannon says there was racial tension in the emergency council meetings and says he was fired because he's white. He's seeking $50,000 for emotional distress and damage to his reputation. Meanwhile, former Officer Potter is serving 2 years in prison. She maintains she only intended to subdue Wright with a taser when he was stopped for an outstanding warrant. Wright was shot when he struggled with officers. The Mall of America reopened today as police search for the 2 people involved in a shooting inside the shopping complex after 2 groups got into a fight in the Nike store. Police say 1 group left but then returned, one of them firing 3 rounds into the store. Bloomington police say no one was struck by the gunfire, but no one is in custody either.
I really wish we didn't have to be here today. If someone decides that they don't value human life, and they choose to pull out a weapon, I don't know what we can do.
The last shooting at the Mall of America was back on New Year's Eve when 2 people were hurt during an altercation. In today's Consumer Alert, Minnesotans are just starting to find gas under $4 per gallon. The state average is nearing that mark as well at $4.07, according to AAA. Jeff Wagner explains how low it may go and if we can expect this downward trend elsewhere.
A gallon of gas with 3 as the first number on a price, motivation for some drivers to just go for it on site.
I mean, it's still pretty high. but just to be under 4, I had to make sure to stop. Even if I would have needed $10 in my tank, I probably would have stopped.
He might have fainted had he seen it below 3, as is the case at one gas station in Oklahoma, the first in the country to dip below that threshold in many months. Minnesota's average remains above $4 a gallon, but likely not for long.
It could get as low as $3.75, $3.50 is not impossible.
Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy says the slide is due to a higher supply of fuel in recent weeks, but mainly people concerned about the economy thanks to inflation and rising interest rates.
And that's why it's a little bit delicate, because supply and demand. It's also a sign of how high prices went, that this decline is so substantial.
Everything still seems pretty high to me, at least.
He's not wrong. Your grocery bill likely isn't feeling the same relief.
Which of those prices are going to be going up and going down is anybody's guess.
Economics professor George John says food prices are volatile, and forecasting when they might drop would be foolish.
I would suggest to families out there that they not try to forecast whether there's a better deal coming or that I should buy today because it's going to go up tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Look at the current price. If it looks okay to you, buy it. Otherwise, don't buy it.
Jeff Wagner, WCCO 4 News.
DeHaan says Minnesota's average price per gallon should fall under $4 by next week, but that's still about $1 more per gallon than at this time last year. The drop should continue as long as nothing major happens, like a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. According to Gas Buddy, gas in North Dakota sits just over $4 a gallon, though the majority of gas stations in the metro have gas for under $4. The lowest gas price, $3.84 at Sam's Club. And if you're headed to the lakes this weekend, gas is as low as $3.74 at BP in Detroit Lakes. Nearly 1.4 million saws have been recalled due to injury and laceration hazards. There are reports of the saw's rear safety guard breaking nearly 600 times, making it easier for something to fly off and hit the user or someone nearby. Only saws without a green dot on the nameplate or a black dot on the arm of the saw are included in this recall. There have been 9 reports of injuries so far. If you have one of these saws, you can contact the company for details. Amazon announced it's agreed to acquire the vacuum cleaner maker iRobot for approximately $1.7 billion, scooping up another company to add to its collection of smart home appliances amid concerns about its market power. iRobot sells the products worldwide and is most famous for the Roomba vacuum, which would join voice assistant Alexa, the Astro Robot, and Ring security cameras offered by the e-commerce and tech giant. The move is part of Amazon's bid to own part of the home space. Congress has spent months working on legislation to tame Amazon and other big tech companies that are becoming dominant in the market. New data today shows the red-hot labor market is still going strong. In July, the U.S. added more than 500,000 jobs. Unemployment is at a 50-year low. Experts say the overall healthy jobs report also gives the Federal Reserve reason to continue its aggressive rate hikes this year, but fears loom about a recession.
We must see inflation come under control, and the Fed's tool of raising interest rates, it may be a blunt tool, but it's probably the best one we have.
Despite job gains, leisure and hospitality is still down more than 1 million jobs from the early pandemic. Rising interest rates mean it'll cost you more to carry debt, like a car loan. But there is some positive news for consumers. Mortgage rates dropped this week, and drivers have seen more than 50 days now of lower gas prices. Facebook owner Meta is quietly walking back safeguards that were in place to thwart voting misinformation or foreign interference in U.S. elections. It's a sharp departure from their multi-billion-dollar efforts following the outrage from lawmakers that the company had exploited people's data and allowed falsehoods to overrun its site during the 2016 campaign. Meta says elections remain a priority, and they still have policies around misinformation and foreign interference as part of company operations.